Hey guys, and welcome in everybody. It is the Proficient Profanity podcast hosted by me, Bubba, and
Carter. Welcome back, guys. Episode 2. Glad to be here.
woo! Hey, what are we going to be covering today, Carter?
We got a couple things. The usuals, the movies, games. We've got our reoccurring bits that we want to do on today's Up World and with Bubba. Some movies topics.
Yes.
Of course, Black Panther. We've seen that. Everyone's talking about that trailer. A few other things in there.
Yep.
Video games. What was that? I was just telling you about one. Atomic Heart. I want to talk a little bit about that.
That actually looks pretty cool. I'm excited to cover that one.
Today's Up World. I've got two ones that are pretty hot right now. They're coming from Reddit, and they were really big on Reddit this last week on the front page, and a lot of people will probably know about these already, but I want to talk about those. And then, Bubba, you had some segments that you wanted to speak on.
Dude, I mean, you guys know it. We cover video games. We cover microtransactions. It's getting worse. It's coming to our real lives. I'm going to cover some stuff that I'm going to bitch about there. From that to the terrors of Walmart, computer mice, just because I've got something to bitch about that pisses me off. Who hates wasting money more than me? I'm a bitch about it. And I think grape should taste like purple and not fake grapes, guys. So you're in for some today, boys.
All right. Well, I guess let's jump into it. We'll start with movies. Black Panther 2
into
trailer.
The thick of it. Okay.
Yeah, you watched it, right?
Yes, I did. And oh my gosh, I'm really excited, man. What do you think? What's on your mind about Wakanda Forever? That's the MCU Phase 4 kind of final movie. What's on your mind about it?
Man, it's going to be, I hope, really good. Really, really good. Black Panther 1 was amazing, and most people can agree with that.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be difficult to deal without Chadwick Boseman. His unfortunate passing, which almost everyone in the world has seen at this point. So who's going to be the next Black Panther? There's a lot of rumors. Letitia Wright, the guy who plays M'Baku, his name escapes me right now, but fun fact.
Could even be Shuri, even.
Yeah, that's her, Letitia Wright's character, I think. And make sure I'm not mixing up names here. But fun fact,
the sister.
Not going to dox myself, but Chadwick Boseman is actually from my hometown.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that.
I'm not going to tell you what the town is, but you can Google it. But yes, he did grow up where I lived. And he's really loved in this community. It was nice to see someone come from where I live and blow up. And he got really famous from a couple other films he done before the MCU, but in particular 42 with Jackie Robinson. So that was early 2012 or somewhere in there, I think 2014, somewhere in there. But once he got into Black Panther, man, he was legendary. But Black Panther 2.
I think it's going to be really, really cool. I mean, obviously they'll be operating without King T'Challa due to real world events and stuff, but Wakanda's going to be against the underwater civilization of Atlantis. Don't forget that's where that's going. With Wakanda being led by Dora Milaje, Chief Okoye, that's Wakanda's Queen Ramonda, T'Challa, tech genius sister Shuri, right? So this is kind of like who all is taking us in. And don't forget about T'Challa's lover. They were kind of together at the end of the first movie and talking about their future. Nakia. She turned around and they found like a compromise there in the first movie of fight versus protection and defense. So they found an amazing compromise. And I can't wait to see how that love still transpires, because just like you said, Chadwick Boseman's from, your hometown area. And, they put up more murals, and everything of him and in Wakanda and everything. It's just so cool to see how much he touched the community and how much we learned. And he wanted to complete the MCU movies, even as sick as he was, for the kids, for the fans. It's just, man, what an amazing guy. I'm really excited for the second movie.
Man, and to not get off topic from Black Panther 2, but I want to harp a little bit more and speak on Chadwick Boseman for just a brief moment, mainly because he meant a lot to the community that I came from. And there was
Okay.
actually a, I don't know if it was a petition or what exactly the community was trying to do, but there is a rather big park in the hometown that was, they were, I believe, trying to get renamed and named after him. I don't know how far that's gotten, but I would love to see that. I know
That'd be cool.
Mac Miller, everyone knows Mac Miller passed, famous musician. He had a
Hmm.
Blue Slide Park, got renamed to Mac Miller's Blue Slide Park, which I thought was cool. I think it would
That's
be a
pretty cool.
touching and honorary thing. But
I agree.
speaking almost, we were just talking about Black Panther 2 in Atlantis. We've got another water movie essentially coming out with Avatar 2.
The
Bubba, tell me
Way of
about
the
that.
Water. Yeah, man. So the trailer for The Way of the Water, right, debuted in theaters just before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That was in May, right? But they are going to be bringing back the first Avatar on the big screen. And basically, The Way of the Water is setting up Avatar 4 and 5, right? 3 is already going to be thought of and is being worked on. But the biggest thing about The Way of Water is it's setting up for Avatar 4 and 5. I don't know the actual names of them yet. We just know it's 4 and 5. That's what's already come out. And Empire Magazine's kind of been covering that, but it's really going to be an amazing journey. Sigourney Weaver, we know, is returning and will be the adopted teen daughter of the two main protagonists, right? Jake and Neytiri. You remember them?
I do, man. It's been so long since that movie came out, but it was so iconic at the time and so different that it really stood apart. I mean, there's a reason that it's like, I believe it regained its title of highest grossing movie of all time from Avengers after a brief re-release, but it is still pretty
Yeah,
iconic.
$2 billion. That's
I
pretty
almost
dang
3,
big.
I think, but it's nuts. But you mentioned Sigourney Weaver. I've got to talk about that for a second. Man, I know you've probably seen it, but her in the Aliens franchise from the 80s.
Oh boy,
I
man.
won't
And I
lie.
loved AVP. I love AVP. I've watched all of them. I've watched all the Predator movies, Aliens movies alike. I love them.
I won't lie. I
Sure.
had the biggest crush on her as a kid growing up because I thought she was very attractive in Alien, or just badass. You know what I mean? Like that badass female. It was awesome.
Right.
So
Like
I love
Tomb
to see her and
Raider
stuff.
and all
Yeah,
those. Exactly.
I'll be interested to see what they do with Way of the Water. I would like to see more of that world expanded because there's a lot to tell. James Cameron definitely has a vision that he wants to tell. Let him tell it, because I promise you it's going to be really good. I mean, this is the guy from Terminator and Aliens. He knows what he's doing, and it's going to be
Right.
good.
And he told Empire Magazine, here's a quote right here from Empire Magazine, James Cameron. He admitted right here, the Avatar films themselves are kind of all consuming. There's going to be a lot put into that, man. A lot.
It's going to be very interesting just to see how that world develops, and as new characters are introduced or as characters are killed off, how that world ever evolves. Because films today, man, they're different than they were really even 10 or 15 years ago. Is it's about world building and building interconnected stories. I mean, in particular the MCU and then the DC cinematic universe, and there are other films that do that on a smaller scale, not as large as them, of course, but the world building. So I think it's going to be really cool just to see where we go from there. But in the same vein of that, we've got another movie. I'm not sure if it comes out this year or next year. John Wick Part 4, Chapter 4. I'm not sure if that's going to be the official title of it. But man, Bubba, tell me about the legendary Keanu Reeves as John Wick.
Man, I love Keanu Reeves. He's straight up. This is going to be like another runner of like freaking Fast and Furious where there's 53 movies in this shit. He straight up said, as long as the fans keep asking, I'll keep making movies. That is from Keanu Reeves himself. But I'm really excited for it, man. The price on his head is just getting bigger and bigger. He keeps getting into bigger fights. And now he's finding himself in a fight against the high table global as he's looking for the most powerful players in the underworld. We will see an expansive movie going from New York to Paris to Osaka to Berlin. And, you know, of course, it's from Lionsgate, Thunder Roads, 8711 Productions. So big names in this movie. And the John Wick series is getting bigger. I'm excited for it. I don't know. I think it's doing better and aging better than Fast and Furious did. What do you think, man?
John Wick, man. So it's so good. It's so well done. It's such a refreshing take, I guess, on the traditional like assassin movies. Not that the
Right.
fact that it's particularly like different in originality, but the execution and the style and the world building is just absolutely fantastic. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, the guy that is the creator and I believe the director of all of the John Wick movies was actually Keanu Reeves' stunt double on the Matrix films or stunt coordinator. I'm not exactly sure, but I do believe that. I do remember reading about that and doing some research into that when John Wick was first coming around and getting well known. Um, I think it's awesome. I love Keanu Reeves in the films. I love the action sequences, just the overall sense that the world brings in those films is really really well done in my opinion. And I'm interested to see where it goes and what new players we're gonna get in this one because it's going to be good. You know, it's almost like they got Lawrence Fishburne from the previous. You know, he was in The Matrix, was with Keanu Reeves and
Right.
Carrie Ann Moss. She was Trinity. If they bring her into one of these John Wick films, it's literally like a Matrix reunion.
The trifecta, right?
Who wouldn't want to see
think they
that?
would? Oh my God. I want to freaking see that, dude.
I would love that. Maybe save that for part 5. That she gets a role in there somewhere. I just think that'd be cool. You know, I was a huge Matrix fan as a kid, and I'm a big Keanu fan, so looking forward to it. Switching up topics, video games. You know, we all love video games. There's a lot going on with them, man. You know, it kind of brings back a nostalgia factor in a lot of these remakes coming out lately. And there's another remake. This one's a kind of lesser known, but not. It's not like the Resident Evil remakes or anything. But Destroy All Humans 2 is getting a remake.
Okay. Okay. Amazing game to play. I had so much fun. I think I originally played it on like the PS2. It's been a while for me. I cannot wait. The trailer looks absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but there's some adult humor in there. I got a good laugh out of it, man. What all are you thinking about it?
I was a big fan of the Destroy All Humans. The first 2, there is some. I think there's one on the Wii, and then there's one on Xbox 360. Never played those, but played the first 2 as a kid. Had a lot of fun with them. It's kind of like it almost reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto a little bit with like the humor style, and you're just an alien going around blowing. It just
right.
I got to be careful what I say per se, but anal probing people and making their brains explode or whatever. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun just overall game, and I love to see stuff like that get remade and to be re-enjoyed by another generation. So I hope
they're so
good
good with the subtle jokes, man. They really are. They just, I mean, just like I said in the trailer, that probing legal or whatever, man. Just like they're so good at throwing that raunchy, license to probe. That's it, dude. Man, that game is going to be explosive. What about the game you've really been wanting to cover though, Atomic Heart? Tell me a little bit about that, man.
Oh boy, you're gonna get me on a tangent with this one. So this one's another one that's been in development hell for quite a while, basically. This is from I believe a Russian studio, Mudfish. Now it's almost like if anyone hasn't seen the trailer or know what we're talking about for this, I would recommend you look this one up on your own. It's really interesting, especially if you like BioShock or Metro, or Fallout kind of stuff. It seems like a blend of those. So. Basically,
right.
The premise is like, it's in like a community or small town, or I'm trying to explain it in the best way possible, like a closed off area where robots and zombie like creatures are fighting, and you're fighting, and you've got this like glove that does a bunch of magic shit. You can freeze people and manipulate gravity. To me, that just seems awesome. And it plays.
Remember to use the glove.
Yeah, remember to use the glove. It seems like a lot of. It takes like some hints from Fallout world building and building a good story narrative. And it reminds me a lot of Bioshock, like the original Bioshocks, and like the kind of, I don't know, the tonality. It's hard to say because it's not. From what we've seen, it doesn't take place at night or in the dark.
Some of like the monsters and animations and stuff. I mean, I even saw some that reminded me of like Plants vs. Zombies and then all the way to Resident Evil. I mean, they really took a lot of different like inspirations to design what you're fighting against and how the abilities work. And it is like a first-person shooter style, but you get that glove ability. So it's got a spin on things, man. It's pretty cool.
If you're a fan of like the Fallout style, it definitely has an RPG narrative. Bioshock, Metro. If you like those, definitely look it up. Give it a moment of your time and check it out. I think it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting concept, and I don't know. I like it. Almost feels like a little hidden gem, and it's getting more well known now. But it's been in development for quite a while at this point. But speaking of video games and not everything's all, greener grasses. Prices are going up, man.
What? So we've got microtransactions from left and right field. Games are free, but now the ones that aren't free are going up.
Yeah, some games are going to $70. Now this was originally hinted at a year or two ago, and as time has gone on, more of them have increased in price to the $70 tag. And but I mean, we got to think too, though. We got to think. It wasn't always $60. It wasn't $60 till like the PS2 era. Like PS1 games, they were like a lot cheaper. So
yeah, they're like $15 to like $30, man.
So yeah,
really kind of depended.
You could get stuff cheaper then, and even the new stuff I think topped out at like $50 at the time. But as time's gone on, man, I think it's a cost of, I guess you could call it like a cost of living, inflation, and just demand. I mean, and corporate greed too. That's a really big one we got to harp on. Corporate greed increase those profits, but I don't know.
I wonder if it could also be due to the massive fall off, because now we're post pandemic pretty much. Things are pretty much returning back to the way they were before COVID. So what we have seen is a massive drop off of video gaming, streamers. It's all dropping very hard. Do you think they're anticipating like almost a video game recession, and they're trying to get on top of that so that way they don't have what I call like a rubber band effect? Is that the apprehension we're seeing there? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking big picture, man. Well, I don't know if you've had a chance to look into that yet, but
I think a lot of people in that field and in those corporate worlds, you want to make as much money as possible. You want the biggest profit margins. I get that. But COVID really amplified video gaming and online streaming and personality and social media influencers, everything to do with the internet and how you can make money and spend more time on the internet. That became really huge during the time because of nobody could go outside. You couldn't do anything. If you wanted to go hang out with friends or go to the water park or go to a theme park, none of that was allowed. So you couldn't do it.
You only could in protests. So you could gather in groups of 50 as long as you were protesting something. So everybody just brought something they were mad about, and we were all just individually protesting in groups of 50 about what we were mad about. So
we were 6 feet apart the whole
That's
time.
What we were doing. I mean, it dependent, as long as you're in a protest, you're good though. That's how it was.
Yeah,
to bring back something from last week, actually, do you remember me bringing up Stray?
Yes, I do remember that.
Man, I gotta say, I played it and I gave it really good, almost hype and predictions and excitement last week, but I struggled with it a little bit just because that like the cat's face animations were off like quite a bit. It was a little bit rubber bandy, and the game itself kind of was uninteresting, if you want me to be honest, man. There's very little skill involved. It's very linear, and everything's kind of obvious for the storyline, dude. Like, if you want me to be honest, you're playing a cat, right? That just knows how machinery and electricity works, and it's cute, it's fun, you get to kind of do what you want, but then it's in this like post-apocalyptic, like Fallout, right? Cyberpunk setting that has nothing to do with anything. It's just because. So like there's like robots and shit. None of the random ideas fit together. It's just like I don't know. If I put ADHD into a game, this would be it. So like there was that comfort there that I really enjoyed because that's me, you know? And I could go through the storyline or I could just go play with shit and like it was all right to just kind of I don't know. If you're a stoner and you smoke and that's something you just want to zone out and do, go for it, dude. You have the time of your life. But besides that, it's kind of boring, man. It's kind of let down. I don't know. I don't see the massive fuss over the Stray game. I don't know. That was my opinion. But I
So
covered it last week and finally got to play it. And it was just
I haven't checked it out yet. I'm gonna check it out. But I gotta say, like, to be fair, like I'm gonna say it's probably pretty hard to animate a cat's face correctly, you know, because it's not the same as like people or whatever. I get it. So I gotta say that's probably pretty hard to do. But in the same thing, man, like with video games now, it's like you have like two kinds of people that play video games, like really play video games. Like they either need everything to be fully explained to them in a logical way, or you have the people that don't give a about that, and it's what's called suspension of disbelief. And to me, I don't really give a one way or another as long as I'm having fun with it and it's enjoyable and it's not a dumpster fire. I don't care. So
yeah.
I'm gonna check it out. I wanna get an opinion on it. We'll probably circle back. My opinion might be different. It might be the same.
I don't know, man. That was kind of my vibe. You know, there are some other big things coming up though, more on the green side of video games I want to cover just before we flip over into our next tidbit. GTA 6, man. The release date now is so like we thought it was going to be 22, 23, COVID, blah blah blah. It got pushed back 24. Now the latest gossip is saying like 2025. And we did get a little bit more than just that nugget this time. Supposedly, and again, this is all just speculations, predictions. They're from leaks. And essentially, they're thinking that it's going to be set in a modern day version of Vice City. There was some talks that it could just be expansive over like the entirety of the United States. But there were rumors it was going to launch October of 2023 and be set in Miami. That was the other big one. I'm really excited to see where that's gonna wind up. I love the Grand Theft Auto games. I've had a lot of fun playing them. I know you were saying earlier that the game has been referred to as being very woke. I don't know. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I haven't really invested myself in too much into the rumors. It's been a long time since I played GTA 5. But man, it almost seems like Rockstar is kind of like what's that other company? Like Bethesda. They're kind of like Bethesda with like another Elder Scrolls game where it takes for fucking ever to make another game. Now, granted, we did get Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018. So it's not like we haven't had anything, and we have had some remastered games. There was the GTA trilogy remaster. It's not like we haven't done anything, you know, per se, but it just seems like it's been for fucking ever since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. I mean, holy shit, it's on 3 generations of console. Like how much longer do we have to wait for another Grand Theft Auto game, you know?
I don't know, man. They're taking forever, man. I love the games. I've always had a lot of fun with them. I've always enjoyed them. They have a great like modability to them, and you know, I like things like Forge and Halo, and Splitgate's even brought one in where they have a Forge too, and that's what GTA feels like to me. It's just a big playground with the role playing being a really fun focus. But I'm really excited to see what they come up with there.
You know what really kind of revived GTA almost? I know it got really big on Twitch and some other platforms for a while, was the custom servers that people were hosting, like 5M, which is basically, to anyone that doesn't know what 5M is, it's basically just a custom ran server for GTA where things are a lot more in depth and a lot more creativity and really an emphasis on role playing. I would like to see more like that in the next GTA. I would like for it to be more open, more expansive. I like the idea of world building, and I know I did see something about a rumor about saying that.
Making it like community base even.
Yeah, I did see a thing
Okay.
where they were talking about adding additional cities to GTA 6 over time. So like you might start out in like Vice City, and then the next city is, I don't know, New York or Los
Liberty
Angeles or
City.
Chicago
Okay.
or wherever, you know. I would like to see that, you know. I don't personally, when you have stuff that large, I know loading can become an issue on screen, you know, so many assets on screen at one time. So that might bring us back into the fray of loading times and covering up
Server
loading time,
maintenance, stuff
stuff
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, it's going to be a big undertaking if it does go like that, but it's time for
Mm-hmm.
another Grand Theft Auto, man. I mean, GTA 5 it's had its course and it's fun, but you know what really sucked about GTA? I've got to complain for just a second on this.
Okay.
Why they dumped so much money into GTA 5 online, but they never did shit with the story. Like, man, there are so many people that asked for years for like a GTA 5 solo DLC. And
Right,
everything
right.
was
Just
online.
add something to it, but man, it just nothing. That kind of shocks me. I don't know. Maybe they'll fix that in GTA 6. I don't know. It's kind of up. It's a up world, bro. It's up.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a up world. Did you see that basically execution video I shot to you?
Oh, you talking about that one with that cop?
Yeah, okay. So why is it that we keep coming back to police and criminals and wars and stuff like that? But man, so we can't show the video and we're not doing video, but to anyone, I don't really recommend you watch this, but it's it's on front page of Reddit. These kind of things are on the front page of Reddit. They or other news sources and sites like that. These things get brought up, you know. But there was a
But we can't
video.
just keep turning our heads,
No.
right? We've got to look at and learn what we're doing wrong and get to the right side of this coin. Whatever it is for us as humanity, as a community, as people, we got to get on the right side of this. So what's happening in our up world now?
There's this video, a police officer arresting a gentleman robbing, I believe, a Dollar General store, shoplifting. Essentially, he was shoplifting a product, and he was running away, fleeing.
Okay.
The police officer tackles him to the ground. The gentleman is face down on the ground, and the cop is in like full mount, sitting on him from behind. Now, the guy is resisting and cursing and profanities, and the cop has his taser out, and there's a
Okay.
struggle over the taser. Keep in mind, this guy is still laying on his belly the entire time. He does not roll over. He's not off his belly. He's not up on his feet.
But he's trying to
anything.
grab the taser.
He gets a hold of the taser. The cop says, "You need to let go. I'm going to shoot you," or whatever. He's still face down. So, I mean, I get it. There is a danger there. There is a real danger there that you can get tased and this guy can do worse and or kill you. I get that. But the part where it went wrong in my eyes, and a lot of people's eyes, is the cop takes his pistol out and puts it in the base of the skull of the gentleman on the ground and just shoots him right in the head. I mean, barrel.
So
to
he
the
executed
back of
him.
the skull. He executed
Literally
him.
execution
He executed
style.
the guy. And it seemed needless and pointless. I don't think that he, you know, I'm not a police officer, never will be. More power to you if you are. Takes a tough son of a bitch to do it. I get it. It's a hard job, but
yeah. I mean, I back the blue for sure. It's just, man, that is not the. I think that was a judgment call that was up and wrong morally.
It is a wrong judgment call. You know, it's a tough thing. It's tough to be a cop, but it's also tough to be an everyday civilian. I'm sorry. There's a firm distrust between police because of this that happens. You know,
yeah.
You who knows? You get pulled over, you might get 8 shots in your back. You never know. That just really bothered me, man. We need to do better.
It's up.
We really do. But there's another one that honestly is probably even more. There is a huge video going around that almost everyone has probably heard of at this point. A Ukrainian prisoner of war was captured by Russians, and they held this guy down and they castrated him. They cut off his testicles with a box cutter.
Oh, that's ballsy. No, that's not how you do a vasectomy.
They cut off his testicles in the castration, which number one is a war crime in itself. I mean, these dudes are doing torture. I mean, it's beyond up, man. It really is.
Yeah, that's not in the Geneva Convention, bud. Oh my God.
Then they killed the guy. And they film all this, and there are multiple people watching this one guy castrate this prisoner. And it just makes my blood boil seeing all these kinds of violent acts in the world. And it's sad because everything that's negative in the world gets way more attention than anything that's positive. And
yep.
But on the bright side, there's a silver lining to this particular story. The guy that did this, everyone on the internet got hunting, and within an hour knew who he was, where he was from, who he's married to, and everything. So
yeah,
he's f***ed, man. He's f***ed. He ain't gonna make it long. Whether it's a Ukrainian soldier that gets him or somebody else, he ain't gonna make it long.
Somebody will.
Somebody will get that
and
guy.
that's one thing. A lot of people aren't like thinking about it. Like they were losing upwards of 300 to 500 soldiers a day in the Ukraine incident and everything that's still going on. You know, like this is happening. You know, and people are making jokes like, "Ooh, I'll sign up. It's $4,000 a day." Well, I mean, you might get what you sign up for. So it's a f***ed up world. You got to look out for it, dude.
Moving on to another great segment. I think this one's for you, Bubba. Go ahead.
Dude, I've got some things that have really been with me, and it's a messed up world, and now you know I got to about it. It's with Bubba, and what I'm going to start off with this time is BMW is now bringing the video game microtransaction hell to our world. So get this. They're going to put heated seats in every single one of their units, every single one of their cars. You know what I would call that?
Microtransaction?
Standard equipment. That's what I would call it. I wouldn't call it a microtransaction. Here's where that part comes in. Instead of standardizing heated seats in their vehicles, what they're going to do is make it a feature. And instead of being able to use the heated seats upon purchase of the vehicle with the standardized equipment, you are going to have to pay $18 a month to unlock your heated seats.
Dude, that is so stupid.
Microtransactions are coming to our vehicles, and we are getting absolutely on, dude. Which rolls me into my next thing about Walmart parking lots. Oh, Wally World. I hate this. So I lease a vehicle, right? And it's a nice vehicle. I take very good care of it. I detail cars professionally. That's what I do on the side, right? This is our day gig, whatever. But that's what I do on the side. Anyways, I park as far away from people as I possibly can, dude. I go on a adventure like it is Lord of the Rings 5 Bubba edition from my car to the front of the store. That way nobody hits me, right? I don't want to be hit. Anyways, with that being said, what happens is I park all the way out there, I leave the store, come back, and what do you know? I have a quarter size door ding in my door. And I just went on an adventure from my car to the Walmart door so that doesn't happen. But what do? They park right next to me. I hate it.
Dude, people that do that, I'm the same way, man. I'm going to park far away so you don't f up my car. But people that come, like when you park at the other end of the parking lot and somebody still parks beside you, it just makes your blood boil. Like it's nobody's business, man.
Dude, I try so hard to take care of myself in this world, but I can't. Which leads me into the next thing I want to complain about in today is shitty computer mice, man. I spent $150 on my Razer Viper Ultimates. And get this, I'm already having issues with it. I've had it for about 6 months now. My center scroll wheel that I use in FPS games is already ducking out. I'm probably way south of the 60,000 or 100,000 click ratio that they give out. There's always some science number behind that or whatever. But my mouse button and the center wheel is already going out. On top of that, man, get this. The rocker housing that I set it on I have to turn the mouse completely off for it to be able to charge now. It's already doing some weird glitchy business. And then on top of that, it has connectivity issues. So it'll like randomly not want to sense it. But then I'll plug it into my computer, no issue. But I have to keep the mouse charged. Now it's like, why? It might as well just be wired. I got a bitch about it.
You know, I gotta give you a tidbit here. You need to get a Razer Death Adder. That is what I've been using for like 8 years, dude. The Death Adder from Razer is my favorite. I'm sorry. I'm a little biased towards the Death Adder because I got big hands and it's a big mouse. I love it. I hate little mice. I hate little bitty tiny mice. It pisses me off.
Yeah, like the Glorious Model O, they have like the tiny version of the bigger version of it, which those break easily too, just from setting your hand on the back of the mouse. They have like this cutout honeycomb, you know what I mean? Yep. They have that like, they're so light, they're great. They feel awesome for like the first 3 months, and then snap, like just setting your hand on the back of the mouse, you break it right through. It's as bad as like the Mad Catz mice, man. Like everybody knows Mad Catz. They've been around for forever. Like when World of Warcraft came out, they were all like, you know, they look like the Horde and they were all creepy looking. But like in reality, they're crappy, they're heavy, they break easy. You know, I don't know. I'm tired of crap peripherals that you pay good money for that are supposed to be the best of the best, and they're just not quite performing.
Dude, speaking of Mad Catz though, I've got to mention, do you remember the Mad Catz like PS3 Xbox controllers and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, the ones that had like the turbo buttons and all the RGB. Oh,
dude, they were fucking terrible. Those were the ones that you would give like your little brother, or they would give like if you were playing like co-op or like 1v1s against people in Call of Duty. Those you'd give your buddy the controller.
But the blue controller's mine. The blue controller's mine, mother. Don't touch my controller. Everybody has that like elite controller or that different controller that's theirs, homie. You don't touch that. Like every homie respects that they don't use that controller, bro. It's like your dad's recliner, bro. Like, don't sit in that seat. Everything else is cool, but don't sit in that seat. Oh man, and I got one last thing what I want to harp on before we close out today, man. Grape, man, the grape flavor. Everybody knows the nostalgic Kool-Aid grape flavor, dude, where you pour like 3 cups of sugar in that sucker and it tastes like sweet heavenly purple. If you eat a purple Skittle, it tastes like purple, a beautiful flavor of deep velvety purple. It's so good, right? But like this grape flavored, sometimes like knockoff Pedialyte and stuff like that.
Worst.
That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily just medicine stuff, but they taste like fake grapes, like an actual grape if it was fake. They don't taste like the color purple, man. It's gotta taste like purple or I'm not there with it, dude. Like, stop making taste like grapes. Make it taste like purple. You feel me?
No, I feel you. Man,
that's all I'm saying.
You know, that reminds me, like, on a similar thing. Have you ever drank, because you remember the purple Gatorade, but do you remember the lemon Gatorade?
Yes, I do. Like the
yellow
lemon.
The yellow lemon Gatorade. You ever drank so much of that it makes you sick?
Yeah, dude, like your mouth. You can't feel your mouth.
You're just
it's like, man.
You're like, if I drink one more sip of this Gatorade, I'm going to throw the up.
Bro, it's like those the sugar-free gummy bears. That's like the biggest thing they told us not to get if you ever went up to Blim or whatever. Which, if you want a good time of laughing, go to Amazon, look at the sugar-free gummy bears, and look at the reviews. You will laugh for months on my life, dude. It's hilarious.
We'll have to check those out. Well, I do want to add one more thing because we kind of let it slip our minds earlier. Vince McMahon from WWE is stepping down as CEO and chairman of the company. Now,
what?
Is this good or bad?
WWE?
WWE.
The guy.
The man himself. Well, I know you probably have heard the multiple sexual allegations that he had against him and like $12 million worth of hush money or whatever. You know,
right.
It was like a matter of time before something like that was going to come to light. because I don't know, man, when you're like that rich and like you have like that much money or whatever, there's bound to be like, you know, hidden stuff in your closet, you know. There's bound to be skeletons in the closet.
He's from that time frame too. I mean, that generation, like it's sad to say, like we almost expect it. Like today's world, man. I mean, even our boy Bob Ross couldn't go down without his family, you know, taking advantage of it, man. It's crazy, dude. But Vince McMahon is stepping down. That's crazy, dude. That's like my whole childhood, man. Back with Rey Mysterio and The Undertaker. Oh my God, from the top rope. SmackDown versus Raw live. Like, oh my God,
dude.
No,
those were
times are changing.
The early days, the Attitude Era. You know, what was the one in the early 2000s called? It was the Attitude Era. And then there was another era in wrestling. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But you know what I'm talking about. You know, the best to ever do the business. The Rock versus Stone Cold. The greatest of all time.
Steve Austin. Oh,
dude. I think this is a good thing. I really do. Because, so supposedly I believe he was the president of the company, Nick Khan, and then Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, are going to be like co-CEOs, and then Triple H is in charge of the creative control now. Please, please.
So that's going to be a dynamic.
Dude, I'm hoping that we get some people with some split open skulls, and I hope they start letting cuss words fly. We're going back to the 90s, baby.
That's what I'm saying. The cage matches, dude. The barbed wire, like the Raw. God, dude, I just remember how explosive it was, even on TV and the people live, dude. Like when I was a kid, I was jumping off my couch, top roping my coffee table, didn't give a son. Dude, we were just throwing elbows, man. We didn't know what we were doing.
You ever think about how stupid we were as kids? Like we would set up like a fake WWE ring with like pillows and blankets in the living room and just RKO the shit out of each other, praying to God that nobody got paralyzed.
And me always missed the pillow. It went right in between them every time. Bam, my knee. No, patella. Right in between the pillows, bro. Every time.
And then like choke slamming each other and just praying to God no one gets paralyzed or dies.
Dude, I'm saying, I miss those days. That was so much fun.
Well, I really hope that this leads to something good with the WWE because, man, some of their stories and some that they've done recently has honestly kind of sucked. There's been some few really good bits that come out lately, but man, we need to go back. We need to go back to the hardcore times, man. I want to see people taking chair shots to the head.
I agree, man. Like something that's like, and don't get me wrong, I love UFC, but something that's fun and brings back that old energy, man. I had such a good time with it. But shoot, that's all I've got to about today, man. I've had a little bit of fun. I think I'll see you next time.